All right, today we're looking at factoring, and so we're looking at all of our regular cases of factoring that take place. So as we look through these, the first thing that we're going to do always is check to see if there's a greatest common factor. So if there's a greatest common factor, we will pull that out. And unfortunately on these, I don't have any greatest common factors. Then we're checking for difference of squares if it's two terms. I remember difference of squares would be like x squared minus 16 or 4x squared minus 36. Okay, something like that for difference of squares. If there's a plus sign in the middle, it is not difference of squares. Yeah, we can also check for perfect square trinomial, but if we don't have that, then we'll do slip and slide and solve it like we're going to do a couple of these. So when I factor this out, I'm needing something in the front that multiplies to 6x squared, something in the back that multiplies to 1. So we should know in the back that it'll end up being a 1 and a 1. With the negative in the middle, looks like they both be negative, but it's sort of a shortcut. Instead of guessing and checking to figure out what it would be, is if I multiply this times the back here and get a new trinomial, and then I can factor this one out a lot easier, just because we've got a lot of ways that we can work through this one and kind of solve it from there. So I've got x squared minus 5x plus 6. So what I will do is I need something that multiplies to get 6 and adds to get negative 5. And it turns out that would be negative 2 and negative 3. And so I'll do x minus 2 times x minus 3. Now, doing the reverse and multiplying this back together gets us to that new trinomial we found, but not to the other one that we've got up top, the original one. So what I need to do, and this is mainly just getting us something that will add together to that in the middle. What I've got to do is I'm going to divide by 6 for both of these and simplify. So instead of 2/6, that'll become 1/3. Instead of 3/6, that'll become 1/2. And with that, I will take the denominators now and move them up in front of the x. So what I end up with at the end of all this is 3x minus 1 times 2x minus 1. That gets us, and here's our quick check. Quick check is going to be if we multiply the front 2, 3x times 2x would be 6x squared. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So that's a way we can quickly be pretty sure that we've done the right thing, just by checking that out. All right, let's look at another one. I'm going to do number 4 down here. So again, there's no common denominator, no greatest common factor. So I'm going to multiply that in the back to get x squared plus x minus 56. And so I need something that multiplies to negative 56 that adds together to get 1. And what happens there is if I do 8 times negative 7, that gets me negative 56. 8 minus 7 gives me the positive 1 in the middle. So x plus 8, x minus 7. Then I had a 2 up front here, so we're going to divide by that, and then we'll slide if we can. So we'll divide and then we'll simplify. 8 divided by 2 would be x plus 4. And this one won't, so we'll slide that up front. You get 2x minus 7. And that should be our answer there. And so working through this, this gives you a pretty good idea of how to take and adjust this. We'll look at number 5 real quick with that negative up front. So when you have a negative there, we need to take this and move it to the back. But one of the things I want to do first, before I move that 6, is I want to pull out that negative. And so I'm going to pull out a -1, which changes this to a positive, that to a positive, and this to a -2. All that does is it just helps us to work out a little easier. We could multiply the negative back in later if we wanted to into one of the factors, but really we could just leave it out front. So when I do 6 times -2, that remains the same. So I get x squared plus x minus 12. And then I've still got that -1 out front. All right, then I've got multiplication that needs to take place here. So I need something that multiplies to -12 and adds up to a +1 again. So we're looking at 3 and 4. Again, the 3 will be negative. So -1 we'll try and keep out front. X minus 3 and x plus 4. Then, of course, I will divide by that 6. Remember, we pulled out the negative, so just by +6, which gives me 1/2 there and 2/3 there. So once I slide that back up, I end up with a -1, 2x minus 1, and 3x plus 2. And so we'll do our quick check. If I do 3x times 2x times -1, that gets me the -6. If I do -1 times 2 times -1, that gets me the +2 that was there. So this would be a perfectly fine answer. Of course, you could multiply the one into one of these factors or the other, not both, because that would be multiplying by -1 twice, since technically all this would be multiplied together. So looking at this was number 5, pulling out that negative. But this the method this is called is the slip and slide, where we take and slip that number to the back, and then at the end we slide it back up to the front.